If I could sit down with my 20-years-old self over coffee, I wouldn't start with warnings or regrets. I'd just smile and hold her hand for a moment. Because back then, she didn't know the lessons that life hadn't taught her yet. She was brave in ways I'd forgotten, hopeful in ways I still admire, and just beginning to understand what love meant beyond the movies. At 40, with 2 sons, a husband who's my best friend, and a few heartaches behind me, I now see dating through a very different lens. So this isn't a list of do's and don'ts, it's a love letter. 5 lessons I wish someone had whispered in my ear back then, not to change the past, but to ease the pressure, soften the self-doubt, and help her choose better. And if you're in your 20 seconds now, consider this my heart reaching out to yours. You're not behind, you're not broken, you're learning, you're becoming. And I promise, what you learn now will shape the love you grow into later. Number 1, kindness is everything, don't be fooled by flash. One of the biggest lessons I learned far too late is that kindness is not something you can compromise on. In my 20s, I was often drawn to people who had charisma, the kind of energy that fills a room, the charm that makes you laugh, the stories that feel like a movie. And sure, that spark can be exciting. But what I didn't understand back then is that charisma without character is a hollow show. What really lasts, what really builds a safe and enduring relationship is consistent kindness, especially when no one's watching. I remember going on a date with a guy who was funny, confident, and full of impressive plans. But then he snapped at a waiter for bringing the wrong drink, rolled his eyes when someone held up the line at the parking lot, and barely looked up from his phone when we passed by a homeless man asking for help. That night, something shifted in me. I realized that the way someone treats people who can do nothing for them, that's their truest self. And that's who you're dating, not the highlight reel they show you at dinner. Kindness isn't just about saying sweet things to you. It's in how they speak about their ex, how they react when they're stressed, and how they show up when things aren't convenient. It's in how they listen, how they apologize, how they make space for your feelings, not just their own. I know now that a kind heart is not loud, it's steady. It remembers your coffee order, checks in when you're quiet, and doesn't need a spotlight to shine. So if you're dating someone and you're unsure, don't just ask, "Do they make me feel butterflies?" Ask instead, "Do they make me feel safe?" Because the butterflies fade, but kindness stays. It carries you through illness, through children and chaos and bills, and all the quiet moments in between. You won't always remember the fancy dates or flirty texts, but you will remember how they made you feel when you were anxious, overwhelmed, or unsure of yourself. That's what real love is made of, not the spark, but the soft strength underneath. So please, don't settle for flash when what you deserve is fire, the kind that warms you gently for a lifetime, not burns out after the show. Number 2, if you're always the one trying, it's not love. There's a particular kind of loneliness that settles in when you're in a relationship that looks perfect from the outside but feels quietly painful inside. I know because I've been there. I've been the one staring at my phone, waiting for a text that never came. I've been the one writing long, thoughtful messages, only to receive short, distracted replies. I used to think love was about fighting hard, proving I was enough, showing how deeply I cared, even if I was the only one trying. I'd tell myself, they're just busy, or they'll come around, while ignoring the sinking, feeling in my chest. I believed that if I could just do more, love harder, be more patient, everything would work out. But here's the truth I wish someone had told me. If you're always the one reaching out, initiating every conversation, making all the plans, apologizing even when you're not wrong, then it's not love. That's emotional labor wearing the costume of romance. Love is not meant to feel like a performance or a burden you carry alone. A real healthy relationship is built on mutual effort, mutual care, mutual desire to connect. Sure, life happens. There will be days when one of you carries more weight that's normal. But it should never be one person pulling the entire load while the other just shows up when it's convenient. Sometimes we confuse inconsistency for mystery. We think their hot and cold behavior means they're passionate or deep, but inconsistency is not a personality trait. It's a sign. If someone always has time for everything else, work, friends, gym, scrolling but keeps you waiting, doubting, second-guessing your worth, they are telling you something. Believe them. You shouldn't have to beg for the bare minimum. You shouldn't have to chase someone to feel seen. And real love will never require you to abandon yourself just to keep someone else interested. I wish I had understood that sooner, that I didn't have to earn someone's affection by shrinking myself or constantly proving I was worthy. I deserved someone who showed up without being asked, who cared without being reminded, who chose me not when it was easy or fun, but when it actually mattered. So if you find yourself trying too hard to hold something together, step back. Ask yourself, does this relationship bring me peace, or am I always anxious? Do I feel chosen or tolerated? You deserve more than effort with no return. You deserve a love that reaches back when you reach out. Don't settle for being someone's option. Wait for the one who makes you feel like a priority without needing to be convinced. Number 3, don't perform perfection, be your authentic self. In my 20s, I truly believed that love had to be earned through perfection. I thought if I could always look put together, always say the right things, always be agreeable and upbeat, then I'd be the kind of woman worth loving. I became an expert at hiding parts of myself. I didn't cry in front of people. I didn't speak up when something hurt. I wore the emotional makeup just as carefully as the physical one, all smiles, no mess, no burden. I thought being low maintenance meant being lovable, and for a while, that illusion got me attention. But deep down, I felt disconnected, not just from the people I dated, but from myself. Because here's what I learned later. When you hide your feelings to keep the peace, you sacrifice the kind of love that brings real peace. Real connection doesn't happen when you're pretending. It happens when you're honest. Love, at its best, is not about impressing someone. It's about being seen and accepted. The right person doesn't want the edited version of you. They want your real thoughts, your quirks, your questions, your passions, even your tired days. Especially your tired days, because life isn't made of filtered moments. It's messy, it's stressful. It's laundry on the floor and traffic after a long day and days when you don't feel like smiling. And if you're with someone who only sticks around for the polished parts, that's not love, that's performance. In my marriage now, what I cherish most isn't how often we get everything right. It's how we stay soft with each other when we get things wrong. It's being able to say, I'm not okay today, and knowing that I'll be met with patience, not judgment. It's being able to disagree and still feel loved. That's what being seen feels like, and that's what I wish I knew back then, that you don't have to earn love by erasing yourself. You don't have to keep pretending to be cool with everything. You don't have to keep dimming your light so someone else doesn't feel uncomfortable. If someone is intimidated by your truth, your needs, or your dreams, they're not your person. The right person will admire your honesty. They'll lean into your vulnerability. They'll love the version of you that's real, even when that version is messy or unsure. So stop trying to be perfect. Start trying to be real. The person who truly sees you will never ask you to hide. They'll stay not for who you pretend to be, but for who you actually are. Number 4, being single doesn't mean you're broken. When I was in my 20s, being single felt like something to explain, or worse, something to fix. Especially when it seemed like everyone else was coupling up, getting engaged, or posting dreamy relationship photos on social media. I remember sitting at weddings, smiling politely while people asked, "Why are you still single?" as if it were some kind of diagnosis. And quietly, I started to wonder the same. Was I too picky? Too intense? Not lovable enough? I carried those questions like quiet weight, letting them whisper lies to my heart. I believed, deep down, that being single meant something was missing in me. But now, 2 decades later, I can say this with full clarity. Being single is not a sign of brokenness. It is not a waiting room for real life. It is not a problem to solve. It is a season, and sometimes it's the season where you become the strongest version of yourself. Some of the most meaningful growth in my life happened when I wasn't in a relationship. It's when I learned how to be alone without being lonely. It's when I figured out what I believed, what I needed, and what I absolutely would not compromise on. It's when I built a life I loved, not because someone else was in it, but because I finally was. We live in a world that rushes us into pairings, that romanticizes partnership as the prize. But let me tell you, the prize is peace. The prize is knowing yourself well enough to wait for love that matches your depth. The prize is not settling for half love out of fear of being alone. When you're single, people assume you're searching. But sometimes, you're simply becoming. You're healing. You're growing roots. You're building a foundation so when love does come, and it will, in the right time and in the right form, you're ready. Not because you fixed yourself, but because you finally saw yourself as whole. Love is not a reward for being less lonely. It's a gift to add to an already meaningful life. So please, if you're single now, don't rush through it. Don't see it as lack. See it as space. Space to breathe, to dream, to rest. This season matters. Use it well. Fill it with books, hikes, friendships, quiet mornings, and belly laughs. Love will come, but your life is already worth celebrating, exactly as it island. Number 5, real love is built in the ordinary, not just the fireworks. In my 20s, I was drawn to the dramatic kind of love, the passionate highs, the butterflies, the texts that made my heart race. I thought love had to feel like a movie to be real. I believed in sparks, in instant chemistry, in love that swept you off your feet. But now, at 40, I've come to realize something far more valuable. The most lasting love doesn't look like a firework. It looks like a campfire, warm, steady, glowing even on the coldest nights. Fireworks are exciting, but they disappear quickly. Campfires stay if you tend to them. That's the kind of love I've come to cherish. The love I value most isn't about constant surprises or sweeping romantic gestures. It's in the quiet morning coffees, the shared grocery lists, the gentle check-ins after a long day. It's in the way my husband fills up my gas tank because he knows I always forget. It's in how we laugh at inside jokes that no one else would understand. It's not loud, but it's loyal. It's not flashy, but it's faithful. And it didn't appear overnight. It was built choice by choice, habit by habit, grace upon grace. When I was younger, I thought love would always feel like a thrill. But real love, the kind that lasts through decades and challenges and raising children together, is about the everyday commitment. It's about showing up, even when you're tired or annoyed or not at your best. It's about picking up groceries for each other, watching the same show for the 5th time, holding hands while doing nothing at all. And I wish I'd known back then that those boring moments are actually where love gets its roots. That the real romance is in choosing each other again and again in the car rides, the arguments, the errands, the silence. That's where trust grows. That's where intimacy deepens. That's where forever is formed. Ultimately, keep in mind that you deserve a love that feels like home. If I could go back and whisper anything to my younger self, it would be this: you don't need to chase excitement to find love. You don't need to be someone else to be chosen. The love that is meant for you will feel safe, not shaky. It will feel peaceful, not painful. It will feel like home not because it's perfect, but because it's real. So hold out for that kind of love. Build it, water it, and when it comes, cherish it with all your heart. If something in this video touched your heart, please like and subscribe to stay connected. This channel isn't just about giving advice, it's about reminding you that love, in all its forms, is worth fighting for. Whether you're in love, in doubt, or in the middle of rebuilding something fragile, you're not alone. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We're here with you, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next episode.